High school girl is accidentally reincarnated into video game and gets the most overpowered magic. If you enjoy my recaps, please subscribe to our channel for more fantastic anime recommendations. Meet Alicia, a determined young girl who embarks on a journey to the capital in search of the prestigious Royal Academy. Along her way, she encounters an elderly lady who appears to be unwell. Without hesitation, Alicia uses her light magic to cure old lady, bringing a swift recovery. Although grateful, lady's daughter mentions that it took Alicia a considerable amount of time to perform the healing, hinting at her novice level in magic. Upon learning that Alicia is a freshman and in a race against time to reach the Royal Academy before the gate closes at 6 a.m., lady's daughter urges her to hurry. However, as Alicia approaches the academy, the bell rings, and a boy named Oswald, also a freshman, closes the gate. He explains that he's merely adhering to the academy's rules and shares his own experiences of adapting to academy life by assisting with weekly duties. Oswald suggests Alicia find a place to spend the night, but she insists on entering the dorm, aware that the entrance ceremony is the following day. Alicia, facing financial constraints, confides in Oswald. He reveals that he's heard about her, being the only commoner admitted this year. Despite feeling sorry for her, Oswald emphasizes his commitment to following the academy rules. However, Oswald points out a crumbling part of the wall, disclosing that students breaking curfew often use it to enter. Curious about Oswald's identity, Alicia inquires, prompting him to introduce himself as the son of a minister. Alicia expresses admiration, stating her desire to be friends with him. As Alicia gazes at the broken part of the wall, she encounters a boy named William, who, to her surprise, realizes that she has also broken the curfew. William extends a helping hand, assisting her in sneaking into the academy. During their clandestine adventure, he discloses that he, too, is a freshman and shares the story of being tasked with buying drinks for his seniors, a ritual for newcomers entering the dorm. Guiding Alicia carefully across the academy roof, William mentions that his father holds a prestigious position as a general. Alicia, absorbing the stark contrast of wealth within the academy, is cautioned by William to be vigilant. However, their escapade takes an unexpected turn when William accidentally falls through a window. In her attempt to help him, Alicia ends up falling too, colliding with another boy revealed to be William's friend. The new acquaintance introduces himself as Edwin, disclosing that he is the prince of a kingdom. Alicia, taken aback by this revelation, finds herself in an unexpected situation. Following the mishap, Alicia and William are summoned to the principal's office, where they face reprimand for causing a commotion on the eve of the entrance ceremony. William, attempting to shift blame, points fingers at Alicia, claiming distraction due to their conversation. However, the principal interrupts, confiscating William's drinks. Turning his attention to Alicia, the principal acknowledges her rare talent for light magic, the reason she earned a scholarship despite her commoner background. As a consequence, the two are assigned extra duties for a week and instructed to work together. Upon leaving the office, it becomes apparent that the principal harbors a secret excitement, believing Alicia to be the one capable of defeating the demon lord. That evening, Alicia reflects on the events of her first day, realizing she has made a mess of things. A commotion outside captures her attention, and upon investigating, she witnesses guards searching for an intruder. Alicia initially feels safe, thinking criminals are targeting the academy due to its affluent students. However, her sense of security shatters when a man enters her room, prompting her to attack him. To her surprise, he reveals himself to be Edwin. Edwin explains to Alicia that he was investigating something but accidentally alerted the guards. Realizing they are still searching for him, he requests to stay in Alicia's room, and she agrees. Apologizing for intruding, Edwin confesses he's always been surrounded by nobility and never had a chance to interact with a commoner. Alicia clarifies she attacked him thinking he was a robber. Despite the unconventional circumstances, they enjoy their time together, but Edwin decides to leave when he believes the guards are gone. Alicia cautions him to be careful, promising to keep their encounter a secret. The next day, during the opening ceremony in the hall, Alicia smiles at Edwin but accidentally bumps into a girl named Yumiella. Yumiella glares at her, causing Alicia to feel intimidated. Though Yumiella wonders about Alicia's demeanor, she dismisses it and takes her seat. The officials welcome the freshmen, but the scene shifts to Alicia and the boys fighting against Yumiella in a magical duel. Struggling against Yumiella's dark magic, Oswald summons a fireball to counter her attacks, creating an opening for Alicia. Alicia unleashes her ultimate spell, lighting up the room and releasing a powerful beam of light. Yumiella is ultimately defeated, and Edwin hugs Alicia. However, it is revealed that the entire scenario was a game called Light and Hero, with 3 love interests, and the goal is to level up Alicia to defeat the Demon Lord. As the victory celebration unfolds, it's disclosed that Yumiella is the hidden boss, the strongest character in the game. The girl controlling Yumiella was killed by a truck and reincarnated into the game, ending up in Yumiella's body instead of becoming Alicia. She knows the game's storyline and notes that the kingdom was founded by the hero who defeated the Demon Lord, with black hair being seen as a symbol of evil. Lacking memories of her parents, her servants are cautious, thinking she's evil. Despite her overpowered character, she questions her existence, knowing she'll be defeated in the end but also acknowledging her strength and ability to use dark magic. Deciding to enjoy her life outside the confines of the game's predetermined story, Yumiella dismisses the love interests and plans to avoid Alicia's party, believing it will spare her life after they defeat the Demon Lord. Uninterested in the main plot, she focuses on raising her level by heading to the woods and engaging monsters. Killing a slime, she obtains a magic stone, realizing her body is growing stronger. The addictive feeling prompts her to become a monster-slaying enthusiast, selling the magic stones for money. With her earnings, Yumiella purchases an amulet of growth to expedite her leveling. Venturing into a dungeon filled with monsters, she single-handedly clears it and obtains a monster-calling flute, summoning powerful creatures to aid her. Unmatched by any opponent, Yumiella becomes a formidable force. Entering the Royal Academy, Yumiella reads a message from her parents instructing her to find a nobleman for marriage, as it is crucial for her to become the heir. At the gate, she observes Alicia pleading with Oswald to enter the academy. Realizing events are aligning with the game's storyline, Yumiella decides to avoid them. The next day, the entrance ceremony begins, and Yumiella notices the stares from others, attributing it to her black hair. The official reveals that students' levels are about to be assessed as they bring out a crystal ball. Surprised, Yumiella hears Alicia's level 1 announcement as she touches the crystal ball during the level assessment at the entrance ceremony. The principal encourages Alicia to do her best. William impresses everyone by already being at level 10, sparking admiration. Yumiella, however, feels nervous, determined to keep a low profile. Contemplating the boss she defeated, she believes she's above level 10. Yumiella approaches the crystal ball with a sense of apprehension. The principal notices her nervousness, assuming she's still at level 1. Yet, she touches the ball, and to everyone's shock, the display reads level 99. Concerned that her secret is exposed, Yumiella realizes she won't be able to live a peaceful life anymore. The principal questions the accuracy of the result, suspecting a malfunction. The officials replace the crystal ball, and Yumiella repeats the test, but the result remains unchanged. Knowing she can no longer hide her secret, she admits to the accuracy of the reading. However, the officials refuse to believe her, accusing her of tampering with the device. They find it impossible for a freshman to be at level 99, insisting she needs to defeat monsters to level up. Yumiella reveals that she has been defeating monsters for years, surprising everyone. The principal, skeptical, remarks that only time will tell if the result is accurate, instructing her to introduce herself. Despite feeling doubted, Yumiella proceeds with her introduction, hearing whispers of fraud from fellow students. After the ceremony, everyone gathers for a buffet party, but Yumiella observes that nobody wants to talk to her. Feeling isolated, she decides to leave. While walking around the campus, William accuses her of cheating, expressing disbelief at her level. Edwin joins in, calling her a central wannabe, and implying that William's early training with a sword explains his level 10 achievement. Both William and Edwin believe she cheated. Yumiella defends her level 99 claim, assuring others they will believe her once classes begin. Upset and skeptical, William, Edwin, and Oswald express their disbelief, thinking she's trying to act innocent. Oswald joins in, questioning her credibility. Yumiella, aware of the attention she's drawn from the love interests, recalls their characteristics. William with a strong sense of justice, Edwin is the main hero capable of using magic, and Oswald is a magic prodigy with a cool personality. Uninterested in any of them, Yumiella aims to avoid them for a peaceful life. Edwin challenges her to display her magical powers as proof, but Yumiella knows this would create a commotion. Instead, she suggests they talk to Alicia, mentioning she appears lonely. The love interests dismiss her, convinced she will never admit to lying, deciding to wait until classes begin. As they make their way to Alicia, Yumiella returns home, explaining to her maid Rita why she left the party. Rita suggests Edwin is a good match, but Yumiella questions what a central wannabe means. Rita reveals it refers to regional nobles without influence in the capital, considered an insult. Yumiella wonders how Rita concluded that, realizing it's tied to her family's regional status. The next day, in her classroom, Yumiella hears classmates gossiping about her apparent lies. Alicia enters with the boys, making Yumiella wonder why Alicia already has a good relationship with them when the story has just begun. She ponders if the story changed because of her. Later, as students prepare for their first class on practical swordsmanship, Yumiella, who has never held a sword before, starts playing with it. The teacher announces mock battles, selecting Yumiella to go first. William volunteers to fight her. William prepares to face Yumiella, calling her a fraud and advising her to back out. The teacher orders them to take their positions, but Yumiella hesitates, drawing laughter from the students. William mocks her, thinking she's surrendering, but Yumiella reveals it's her first time holding a sword. Upset, William threatens to break her bones and charges at her. However, Yumiella notes his slowness, dodging his attack effortlessly. William loses his footing and falls to the ground, surprising everyone. Yumiella wonders if the fight is over and the teacher is about to declare her the winner, but William refuses to give up. About to strike her, William is parried by Yumiella, blowing him away. Concerned for his well-being, Yumiella offers to take him to the infirmary, but the teacher intervenes, deciding to handle it himself. While he's away, the students are afraid of Yumiella, who held back against William to prevent serious harm. Deciding to practice swings, Yumiella creates shockwaves with each attack, causing the teacher to never return to give his lecture. In the practical magic class, Alicia, Oswald, and Yumiella are classmates. The teacher decides to test the students' magical abilities by having them hit a dummy with their spells. Alicia struggles with light magic, considered extremely rare. Oswald, having mastered the 4 basic elements, impresses everyone as he displays his powers on the dummy. The teacher acknowledges his prodigious talent. Yumiella, aware that the teacher missed the previous class, understands why he's still questioning her abilities. She reveals her mastery of dark magic, unable to use the 4 basic elements. When asked if she can break the dummy, teacher mentions that only palace mages can destroy it. She decides to use her weakest dark magic spell, considering palace mages below her. Oswald comments on its seeming weakness, but the teacher recognizes it as dark magic. The spell disintegrates the dummy, melting anything it touches. Teacher explains that dark magic isn't inherently evil, citing its use by palace mages in the past. Impressed, the teacher is about to acknowledge her abilities when Oswald, refusing to accept someone surpassing him, dashes away. Edwin arrives with the principal, informing Yumiella of her impending expulsion. The principal asserts that she lied about her level, and the teacher, pleading with him to reconsider, highlights Yumiella's dark magic capabilities. The principal remains unconvinced, demanding proof of her level 99 status. The teacher urges Yumiella to display her magic at full strength. In an attempt to prove her magical prowess, Yumiella asks Edwin for permission to shoot her magic into the sky. Edwin, underestimating the impact, gives her the go-ahead, thinking her magic won't make much of a difference. Aware of the potential consequences, Yumiella decides to use her strongest dark magic spell, albeit holding back. Summoning a black hole, she watches it expand until it covers the entire sky. Panic ensues throughout the kingdom as the black hole erases everything in its area of effect. It creates a vacuum, absorbing air and everything into its ominous depths. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Yumiella stops the spell, causing the black hole to disappear. In the aftermath, the entire kingdom is in a state of shock, coming to terms with Yumiella's unimaginable power, and the realization that she has the potential to destroy everything. The next day, Yumiella gets a message from the king and heads to the royal palace. Inside, people are talking about the black hole, scared of her powers. The king talks to her, recognizing the bad treatment she faced at the academy. He says sorry for how others treated her unfairly. Yumiella agrees she caused trouble for everyone, but the king disagrees, saying others judged her without knowing all the facts. He doubts she's really at level 99 and wants to test her abilities. The king calls in Knight Captain Adolf, known as the strongest knight in the kingdom at level 60. He's tasked with checking Yumiella's power level, knowing he's as strong as needed to beat the Demon Lord. Yumiella prepares for the challenge. Adolf respects Yumiella's abilities and promises not to hold back. He attacks, rushing towards her. Yumiella doesn't want to hurt him, so she decides to dodge rather than fight back, using a skill. Adolf is surprised by how quick she is and praises her for dodging his attack. He says even experienced knights find it hard to dodge his moves. Convinced she's truly at level 99, Adolf apologizes for attacking her. Yumiella accepts his apology graciously. The king asks Yumiella to show her magic powers, so she casts a spell making spikes come up from the ground. The king sees it's dark magic and asks the head palace mage about it because people think it's bad. The mage explains that dark magic is just another element, not necessarily evil, and it's as rare as light magic. The king thinks people fear Yumiella because they don't understand her, and he congratulates her for being the first person to reach level 99 in the world. He wonders how she did it, so she tells him about using the amulet of growth to gain more experience and a monster calling flute to summon monsters in the dungeon. But everyone thinks she's crazy because it's very dangerous. The king asks Adolf for his opinion, and he says only one amulet can be used at a time. He never uses the amulet of growth because the amulet of protection has saved him many times. He also says he'd never summon monsters alone because he's afraid of dying. The king wants Yumiella to use her powers for the kingdom, and she agrees. He offers her anything she wants, even to join the royal family, but she thinks he's trying to trap her, so she just wants to live peacefully. The king promises to grant her wish, but secretly she plans to escape if things go wrong. Yumiella is called to the queen's chamber, where the queen wants to talk privately. Yumiella feels like leaving immediately, but the queen trusts her, thinking she's not like the other nobles with hidden agendas. The queen decides to share confidential information with her, revealing that the demon lord will return in 2 years, so they're preparing a special force led by Edwin. As part of the royal family, Yumiella is told by the queen to join Edwin's team to defeat the demon lord. Other talented students will also be invited. Yumiella figures out that Alicia got a scholarship because the royal family wants to use her for their plan. Edwin doesn't know about this and was investigating it. Yumiella agrees to join Edwin's team because she wants to defeat the demon lord. But the queen warns her not to be the one to land the final blow, as it would tarnish the royal family's reputation. The queen suggests Yumiella marry Edwin, but she refuses instantly.
Ha! Got him! Got him!
The queen gives her 2 years to reconsider. Some nobles are against the king, led by Duke Hilrose, unhappy with how the kingdom is run. Central Wannabe, including Yumiella's family, joined his faction. Yumiella worries about her parents and potential marriage into the Hilrose family. The queen plans to issue a royal order to keep Yumiella with them for 3 years. Yumiella thinks it's enough time but knows she must deal with her family after graduation. The queen advises her to avoid anti-king groups since her powers attract other countries' attention. Returning home, Rita gives Yumiella a marriage partner album, but she's not interested. Instead, she asks for tea, mentioning pastries from the queen. The royal family discusses Yumiella, impressed by her reaching level 99 at a young age. The queen believes Yumiella had to become strong because her parents didn't love her, and people shunned her for her black hair. Despite this, Yumiella endured silently without holding grudges. The king anticipates other nobles trying to win her over, so they plan to offer her the peaceful life she desires. The queen thinks Yumiella needs friends to connect more with the kingdom. At the academy, girls start approaching Yumiella to befriend her after she was summoned by the king. Her relationship with Alicia remains unchanged, but some boys apologize before avoiding her. She receives letters from other boys trying to win her favor. She finds the king's faction easier to get along with, but the anti-king faction members are aggressive, wanting to use her against the royal family. One boy proposes marriage, suggesting they can unite the continent, but she rejects him, stating she prefers someone stronger. He argues his intelligence, but she points out he's not the top student and would have to oppose the royal family to unify the continent, risking death. He becomes scared, and she advises him to stay away to avoid suspicion. Yumiella meets a girl named Eleonora, who was looking for her. Yumiella knows she's Duke Hilrose's daughter, and although the girls admire her, she acts like a tyrant towards them. She recalls her character turning evil to impress Eleonora and wants to avoid her, but Eleonora invites her to a tea party. Yumiella feels obliged to attend to avoid trouble. Yumiella never had a social life, so she struggles to interact with people. Eleonora talks a lot about her perfume, but Yumiella isn't interested and gives vague answers. Alicia never had a chance to talk to Eleonora because she was always busy playing the queen in the game. Eleonora tells Yumiella to give up on Edwin and promises acceptance into their group if she agrees. She believes the king wants her to marry Edwin and thinks Yumiella isn't suitable to be his wife. Yumiella wonders why Eleonora is talking to her when Alicia is closer to Edwin. She declines the invitation to join their group, which annoys Eleonora. Yumiella explains she doesn't deserve to be with Edwin and praises Eleonora, making her happy. Later, as Yumiella sits in the cafeteria, a group approaches her, but Alicia interrupts, asking if she's the demon lord. Yumiella is surprised by Alicia's thought, and Alicia calmly tells her she knows a secret about the royal family shared by Edwin. Yumiella thinks Edwin was silly to share such important information. Alicia then suggests she thinks Yumiella might be the Demon Lord. Alicia's idea comes from Yumiella's black hair and her use of dark magic. Yumiella tries to explain the mistake, but before she can, the boys interrupt, wrongly thinking Yumiella wants to hurt Alicia. Even though Yumiella tries to calm things down, Edwin makes it worse by agreeing with Alicia, saying the Demon Lord will come back. William, scared and misunderstanding, accuses Yumiella of being the Demon Lord, saying she'll turn evil in the future. He says he'll punish her if it happens. Yumiella denies William's claim, saying she's just a student at the academy, and the Demon Lord isn't supposed to come back for 2 years. But William still believes it, so Yumiella challenges him. Oswald also doubts Yumiella because of her strong powers. Yumiella ignores their accusations, saying they're not as strong as her. She tells them they need to get stronger if they want to fight her. But Yumiella tells them her real plan. She wants to help them get stronger. She thinks they'll like her if she helps them. She suggests they go to a dungeon and fight strong monsters while wearing the Amulet of Growth. Yumiella thinks they'll get stronger by fighting and be ready to fight the Demon Lord when the time comes. Yumiella tells the group to hunt monsters actively and use a flute to call them when they're alone. She thinks it's the best way to get stronger. She talks to Alicia, saying her light magic is important. Yumiella says Alicia should fight dark monsters in the dungeon because they're weak against her magic. But Edwin thinks Yumiella's plan is dangerous and might get someone hurt. Yumiella realizes her idea might not be safe, so she offers to go into the dungeon with Edwin. But he says he doesn't need her help. Yumiella notices that the boys don't want to listen to her and some people doubt her. She wonders if Alicia doesn't trust her because she knows what will happen in the future, like she's been in the game before. The next day, Yumiella decides to watch Alicia closely, following her and watching what she does. She learns that Alicia joined the academy to help others and is friends with the boys, even though she's not rich. Yumiella thinks Alicia is nice and friendly but doesn't understand why she's scared of her. As Alicia leaves, Yumiella tries to talk to a cat but scares it away. She sees a boy named Patrick watching her but ignores him because she knows he's pretending not to notice her. Even though Patrick doesn't say anything, Yumiella tells him she could catch the cat if she wanted. When Patrick doesn't respond, Yumiella walks away. Yumiella keeps watching Alicia and hears Edwin telling her that Yumiella isn't the Demon Lord. But Alicia still thinks Yumiella is scary and draws a picture of a monster, saying it looks like Yumiella. Yumiella thinks animals fear her because her light magic clashes with the darkness around her. Edwin doesn't fully trust Yumiella but knows they need her to fight the Demon Lord. He tells Alicia that her light magic is important for their group. Alicia is eager to help and isn't worried about Edwin involving her. Yumiella sees Ronald in the principal's office and learns he's the new principal. She doesn't trust his smile and feels suspicious of him. Ronald says he knows secrets about the royal family and is connected to the king. Yumiella starts to trust him a little. Ronald says Edwin shouldn't have shared secrets and thinks the boys are mad because of hurt feelings. He tells Yumiella about the academy's monster hunt lessons. He wants her help organizing lessons for nobles from different regions, saying they're used to fighting monsters in their areas. Ronald thinks it's best to have separate lessons for central and regional nobles. Yumiella asks how they plan to train the boys. Ronald suggests a training plan to reach level 40 before graduation. But Yumiella thinks they should aim for level 60. Ronald says it's not practical because it would take too long. During field lessons, Yumiella thinks the training is too calm and won't prepare students for real battles. Patrick agrees and suggests working together to kill more monsters. Yumiella is happy to find someone who thinks like her. Patrick suggests a plan where some students fight up close and others attack from far away. Yumiella thinks it's better to switch roles to make sure everyone gets experience. She prefers fighting alone but agrees Patrick's plan is good. When Yumiella uses the monster calling flute, Patrick organizes the students to fight. They win the battle without anyone getting hurt, but a monster almost breaks their formation. Patrick stops it and gets things back in order. After the fight, the students are tired. Patrick tells Yumiella to be careful with the flute, but she's confident she can handle it. She uses her magic to stop the monsters, and the students finish them off. They realize Yumiella's strategy works well. As monsters approach, the students get scared. Patrick kills one quickly to show they're safe. Yumiella notices the students are afraid of her dark magic. She praises Patrick for leading well, and he says he's experienced in fighting because he's a noble's son. A monster charges at Yumiella, and Patrick tries to help but gets hurt. Yumiella defeats the monster and heals Patrick with her dark magic, though he seems uncomfortable with it. Even though Patrick is uneasy, he admits Yumiella's magic works well. Yumiella wonders why Patrick protects her when she's so powerful, but he says he cares about her safety. Yumiella is touched by his concern. Patrick tells Yumiella not to use the flute without warning because it tires the students. But Yumiella insists, summoning more monsters despite the students' panic. She keeps using her dark magic to help them get stronger, even though they're tired. The next day, Ronald warned Yumiella seriously, asking her to stop using her flute. He was very surprised when she showed him she was good at dark magic, especially at healing injuries. Yumiella admitted that she had lost her arm before and used her magic to grow it back, but it was a close call. She knew she could die if she was decapitated. Curious about how the main students were doing, she learned from Ronald that the boys had advanced significantly, defeating all monsters and stopping their classmates from moving forward. Alicia, however, wasn't making progress. Even though she was good at light magic, she couldn't gain experience points like the others. Ronald asked Yumiella to help Alicia get better, saying she could be very helpful. Yumiella was excited about the idea of Alicia going into the dark dungeon to level up. But Ronald was worried about Alicia's safety and changed his mind about it. Instead, he asked Yumiella to test some magic tools to see how strong they were. Ronald gave Yumiella a piece of metal for making armor and told her how well it worked when Adolf tested it. But Yumiella surprised him by easily bending the metal, showing that it was too weak. Ronald couldn't do the same thing and was amazed by her strength. While Yumiella was walking around the school, she met Patrick, who asked her about her talk with Ronald. She told him about Ronald's warning, which Patrick expected. While they were talking, Patrick informs Yumiella about classmates, saying that the other students wanted him to lead the next outdoor lesson. During their sword class, Yumiella noticed how everyone was counting on her. After class, Patrick asked Yumiella to practice with him. She was surprised and asked why he chose her instead of his friends who wanted to be with him. Patrick said he owed her for healing him and wanted to repay her. But Yumiella said he didn't owe her anything and could take care of himself. Even though she thought about finding someone else to practice with, Yumiella insisted they practice together. They sparred, and Yumiella admired Patrick's smooth sword skills. But she also showed her own skills by easily defending against his attacks, making him stumble. When she saw he was hurt, Yumiella quickly healed him and said sorry for hurting him. Patrick felt unsure about himself, thinking he wasn't good enough to be Yumiella's partner. But she praised his sword skills and said she wanted to learn from him. Patrick asked Yumiella why she wanted to get better at sword fighting when she was already very good. Yumiella said she wanted to fight the Demon Lord and explained that rumors about his return were false. She said Edwin, who spread the rumors, wasn't trustworthy because of his bad behavior. Yumiella also talked about people thinking she might be the Demon Lord, but she told Patrick that wasn't true. Patrick shared his own experiences of being treated badly because of his dark hair. Their talk turned into another sparring session, where Patrick found himself outmatched again. He admired Yumiella's use of dark magic during the fight and recognized her bravery for using it despite what people thought. As the evening approached, Yumiella thought about where she came from and wondered if she naturally had dark magic. She remembered playing the game and how her character struggled with darkness while people admired Alicia for using light magic. But Yumiella knew there was a big difference between the game and real life, so she stopped thinking about it. In the next few days, the students had another outdoor lesson, and Patrick reminded Yumiella to be careful with her flute that could summon monsters. Yumiella agreed and said she would focus on healing others during the lesson. When she saw a student get hurt, Yumiella tried to heal him with her magic, but he was scared and wanted to use potions instead. Yumiella didn't let that stop her and still used her magic to help him, even though he was afraid, which confused her. Later that day, Yumiella was disappointed with how easy the lesson seemed, thinking it wasn't effective. Even though Patrick warned her about using the flute because it was dangerous, Yumiella suggested pushing the students harder to make them learn faster. She thought a little pain could help them concentrate better and said she could heal any serious injuries. Patrick disagreed strongly, but most of the students agreed with Yumiella's idea because they thought it was better than the alternative. Yumiella used her flute to summon monsters as the students wanted, and Patrick took charge, leading them in the battle that followed. Yumiella realized she hadn't been very polite to Patrick and admitted he was better than her. She was impressed by how well he led the group and used his magic to control the wind and ground to make their position stronger. After defeating the monsters, Yumiella dealt with the consequences of her actions, especially concerning Patrick. While the students praised Patrick for leading them, Yumiella felt left out and ignored. As they headed back to school, the silence around her made her worry she'd be lonely again. Alicia's unexpected apology for calling her the Demon Lord cheered Yumiella up for a moment. but Edwin's harsh accusations made her feel even more isolated. Edwin said she was a danger to the kingdom, which made Yumiella think about running away. Just as she was thinking of leaving, Patrick stood up for her, saying her methods helped the students get better. Patrick's support made Yumiella feel better, knowing someone believed in her. She thanked him sincerely, but she still felt guilty about what happened and wondered what Patrick thought of her. Then, Patrick showed genuine concern for her, noticing she was feeling down. Yumiella was touched by his care and told him she was okay, grateful for his concern. At that moment, Yumiella realized she wanted to be real friends with Patrick, even though they'd had misunderstandings and fights. Despite the difficulties, she felt hopeful about having a meaningful friendship with him. During the summer break, Yumiella kept practicing sword fighting with Patrick. But because she was so strong, she accidentally hurt Patrick during practice, so she had to use her healing powers to help him. Even though she tried hard, she found it tough to control her power. In class, Yumiella's classmates asked her for help with their work because they knew she was close to Patrick. She offered to help them by using her own methods to make them stronger. But when they seemed unsure and Patrick advised her differently, Yumiella thought again about how she was doing things. She wanted to understand what people thought about her, so she watched how they acted around her and realized there were rumors about her and Patrick. Yumiella went to the library to be alone and met Alicia, who wanted advice on getting better at magic. Alicia said it was hard for her to learn light magic because there weren't many resources. Alicia asked Yumiella about her own magic abilities, but Yumiella hesitated to tell her the truth because she knew she only learned from playing games. She realized that explaining her special magic to Alicia might not help, so she told Alicia to think about memories with light to make her magic stronger. Yumiella remembered stargazing with her grandmother, a memory that made her own magic better. Alicia thanked Yumiella for her help and left feeling more confident. Later, Patrick told Yumiella about pastries the queen sent as a gift. Yumiella suggested they eat them in her room, but Patrick thought it might not be right according to society's rules. They decided to eat in the cafeteria instead, where their classmates saw them and assumed they were close friends. As the summer break ended, the school prepared for a martial arts competition with sword fighting and magic displays. Yumiella wasn't sure about joining at first, wanting everyone to have a chance. But Patrick thought she should because the prize, a special amulet for dark magic, seemed made for her. Even though she already felt powerful, Yumiella admitted she wanted the amulet and decided to enter. Yumiella asked Ronald if she could join the competition, wanting to win the amulet. Patrick later told her the amulet was supposed to be hers from the king, and Ronald offering it as a prize was probably to show off her skills to the nobles. At the arena, they said matchups for the sword fighting would be decided by drawing lots. Edwin and William were in the left block, set to fight each other in the upcoming martial arts competition. Yumiella was in the right block. William bragged to Yumiella about his tough training and high level 20 status, but Yumiella wasn't impressed and responded with simple comments. William realized he was rude before, apologized, and said he was determined to beat her to become the strongest knight in the kingdom. When the event started, Yumiella got into the arena ready to fight. She decided not to go all out during the fight, not wanting to make her opponent look bad in front of the nobles. Worried about breaking her sword because of her strength, she picked the strongest one she could find and tested it with a strong swing. Her opponent quickly gave up, knowing she was much better than him. Yumiella made it to the next round without anyone wanting to fight her. In the final round, Edwin fought William and lost because William was good at using magic with his sword. Yumiella noticed William using a new weapon, usually seen at the end of a story, and wondered where he got it. In the final match between Yumiella and William, he said he wouldn't give up, which relieved Yumiella because she didn't want to win without a real fight. Seeing that William was tired and couldn't handle the weapon well, Yumiella easily dodged his attacks, realizing he didn't have the strength to use it properly. As William criticized Yumiella for avoiding the fight, she realized it wasn't exciting for the nobles, especially since it was the final round. Thinking of Patrick's deflecting technique, Yumiella tried it but stopped when she felt her sword was about to break. Instead, she used her secret move, breaking William's sword with a quick punch. Only Adolf saw it happen, and William was shocked by his sudden loss. Even though she won, Yumiella felt disappointed that most people didn't notice her move. During the magic display part, Yumiella watched the others before her. Oswald told her the judges would look at precision and strength. He apologized for doubting her level before but said he still didn't like her and would beat her. Alicia showed her light magic, making light orbs like the stars she used to look at with her grandmother. She got 88 points for her spell, praised for how pretty it was. Edwin went next, using his sword to make a pillar of fire and got 90 points. Oswald's display was the best, using earth, fire, water, and air to make a big pillar and got a perfect score of 100. When it was Yumiella's turn, she didn't have a plan and noticed Patrick far away in the crowd, which confused her. As Yumiella tried to impress Patrick with her magic, he suddenly left, leaving her confused. Admitting she wasn't confident in controlling her abilities, she decided to rely on the strength of her magic. She summoned a huge black hole that covered the sky, but then stopped the spell, accidentally creating a typhoon. People panicked, scared for their lives, but Yumiella realized her mistake. She had used her magic too strongly and without control. Despite the chaos, she thought about continuing her performance, but the officials begged her to stop. They offered her 300 points if she ended her display. In the end, Yumiella won the event and got the prize from Ronald. She thought her magic would get stronger with the prize, but Ronald didn't understand its importance. Wanting validation, Yumiella asked Patrick, but he didn't seem interested. Feeling disappointed by his response, she wished she could show her full power. As Yumiella realized her first year at the academy was ending, she noticed how scared her classmates were after the incident with the black hole during the martial arts competition. But she felt better knowing Patrick still talked to her. However, Edwin ruined her peace by accusing her of being involved in Alicia's missing stuff. Yumiella said she didn't do it, and Patrick stepped in, telling Edwin not to accuse her without proof. Edwin stopped but said he'd look into other students. Yumiella remembered she had bullied Alicia in the game and wondered who might be targeting her now, knowing Alicia faced a lot of hate because she was from a commoner background. Wanting to stop the bullying and keep Alicia from leaving school, Yumiella decided to investigate. Later, she caught a girl trying to steal books from Alicia's desk. When she asked, the girl said she was doing it for Eleonora because she was scared of Yumiella. Yumiella told Eleonora about it, but the girl denied involving Eleonora. Yumiella thought Edwin's interest in the girl might be why he was mean to Alicia. To make Eleonora feel better, Yumiella said Edwin couldn't marry a commoner, not knowing in the game Edwin had married Alicia. She told Eleonora to stay away from Alicia and hinted she wanted Eleonora to end up with Edwin. Yumiella felt relieved that her actions had stopped Alicia from being bullied while keeping the bully's identity secret. When she talked to Patrick about it, he asked why she didn't tell Edwin. Yumiella explained that she wanted Edwin to find out on his own. She recalls her past in the game, where she served Eleonora but got rejected when she tried to steal from Alicia. This made her want power and revenge until Alicia beat her with light magic. Talking to Patrick about it made Yumiella feel better, even though he didn't fully believe her. She was glad to have someone to talk to but accepted she might never find romance.
Ah, so romantic.
Days later, Eleonora kept following Yumiella and invited her to a tea party, even though Yumiella tried to avoid her because Eleonora was tied to the anti-king group. Yumiella reluctantly went and tried cookies Eleonora made. She criticized them, expecting Eleonora to get mad. But Eleonora liked that Yumiella was honest and admitted she gave Yumiella bad cookies on purpose to test her, and she respects Yumiella for her honesty. Eleonora's genuine effort in baking, inspired by Alicia's kindness toward Edwin, puzzled Yumiella as she struggled to provoke Eleonora's dislike. Despite Yumiella's attempts, Eleonora remained unfazed, making Yumiella suspicious of manipulation. When Yumiella asked about the girl who tried to take Alicia's books, Eleonora admitted she was influenced by one of her followers and claimed she didn't mean any harm. Yumiella warned Eleonora to be cautious of her friends but felt unsure when Eleonora asked for advice about Edwin. Unsure of what to say, Yumiella hesitated, not wanting to influence Eleonora's feelings. Later, Patrick reassured Yumiella about Eleonora's character, making her reconsider her opinion. Even though she turned down Patrick's invitation to the year-end party, Yumiella hesitated, knowing how important it was socially. Remembering the game where Alicia revealed her romantic choice at the party, Yumiella thought about going to see if Alicia chose Edwin. Eleonora surprised Yumiella by asking her to go to the party with Patrick, leaving Yumiella unprepared and without a date. Upon Eleonora's suggestion, Yumiella agreed to let her help pick out a dress for the party. When Yumiella got home, she asked Rita to help her choose a dress for the party. Rita was surprised but said she could do Yumiella's hair and makeup. However, Yumiella found that all her dresses were too small, left over from her mother's purchases that didn't fit her anymore. Thinking about skipping the party, a delivery arrived just in time, sparking Yumiella's interest. At the party, everyone was surprised when Yumiella walked in wearing the dress the queen gave her. Seeing Alicia among the guests, Yumiella wondered who Alicia liked romantically. Patrick, amazed by how she looked, came up to her. Even though Eleanor left, Yumiella told Patrick they were just acquaintances. Feeling self-conscious in the dress, Yumiella noticed William looking for Alicia, guessing they'd leave together, showing Alicia liked Edwin romantically, confirming Yumiella's guess. Despite wanting to leave, Patrick asked her to dance. At first, Yumiella felt awkward but relaxed as Patrick encouraged her, enjoying their dance. Even though she felt like everyone was watching them, Patrick reassured her, telling her she looked beautiful in the crowd's eyes. Yumiella feels nervous as Patrick seems like he's about to confess his feelings. But before he can say anything, the music stops. Stepping back, she asks him what he was going to tell her, but he stays quiet, not saying anything. Feeling his hesitation, she suggests they dance again. However, when another boy asks her to dance, Yumiella says no, mentioning she prefers dancing with someone stronger than herself. The boy backs off quickly. Patrick overhears and feels sad, realizing he isn't stronger than her. Patrick becomes devastated, thinking she doesn't like him. But that's where this video ends, and if you haven't watched his sister accidentally eaten by overpowered dragon due to her mistake, click on the video on the right and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. See you on the next one.